So we have the full forum and the panel here, the expert panel. As you are aware, Dr. J.B. Simha is our chief mentor in artificial intelligence, as well as being a thought leader in emerging technology space. He would be one of the major mentor as well as chief judge for this competition. We have Usha Rengaraju, who has been with us throughout this hackathon journey. She has done multiple workshops now, Q&A sessions. She's an image, anything around the computer vision expert. She's a NLP expert. She's a polymath. She has been working with us in various capacities. She's one of our mentor. Debashish is from Kyndryl. He has been leading the data science projects there, one of the major contributor to the whole hackathon problem statement, data, etc. We are hoping that Shantanu from his team is also here. And we again welcome each of you to this Q&A session. We have a set of questions, but we would want to begin with saying that we are now, so I'm going to quickly share my screen. Let me just share my screen.
Ma'am, just to inform you, ma'am, Santanu sir also have joined, ma'am.
Very nice. Welcome, Shantanu. Shantanu and Debashish works together in the Kyndryl team, and they are also there to help you. So if you see, I hope you are on our website, that we have 2.5 days now to close the phase 1 session. So that means we are hoping that you are working on the problem statement, you have almost reached your final solutions, and you are on the submission state. But we can see a lot of discussions in Discord, and we thought a live Q&A session would help, right? So that is why this call is, but please do not, we are closing the phase 1 submission on this Sunday. This Sunday, I think the time is not shown correct, Nikesh. This Sunday, end of the day, right? I think there is a mistake in the countdown that will be rectified, but we are closing it on Sunday, end of the day, right? So I hope you are working on this. Now, what is that we expect you? That we expect a few things to be submitted. It is all here. You are supposed to submit your model result in an ONNX format. There is a dependency file and the folder structure that you must submit. You also need to submit this .csv template in that format only, because we are going to look at your your metrics on count as well as MAP on the object detection. And you also can prepare a slide deck talking about what is not there on the code. That means what is your motivation, what is the the area, why this interested you, what kind of team that you have, what is the modeling techniques that you have you used any innovations or any kind of scalability or deployment plan you can do all that in slide deck. There is a template, and also you need to record that video. So this is the expectation from us. So if you have any questions, you can unmute and speak up, but we have a set of questions which we will take one by one. Is that yes?
Ma'am, they can raise a hand, and after that I will unmute them, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
We can finish these questions. They
Okay.
may be answering
Great.
these questions.
Great.
We will do, Nikesh, we'll complete the questions first. Then we will go for taking the questions from the participants.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So we have a set of questions being collated here. I think we would request Usha to answer a few questions. Dr. Simha is here. Debashish and Shantanu also can answer, right? So sure. Yes. So the first question is, can we use the predict data set as the validation set? So as you are aware, there are 3 data sets we have given: train, test, predict. Your final submission is on predict data set. So for you, this is also the validation data set. Debashish, you want to take up, because hello.
Yeah. Can you show the question, Dr. Shanu, please?
Can we
Can
use
we
the
use the
predict
predict
set?
set as a validation set? Yes, we can. Yes, we can use that predict as a validation set. Yep.
Yes, yes. So the
Yes.
idea is that you train your model, you test your model, and use predict data set to validate your results, and you submit your predict that results in the .csv format, and the final model, which is run on predict, submitted as the ONNX format. So everything happens as a validation on the predict data set.
Yep,
It
you are
is
right,
written.
Dr. Shanu.
Yeah. See, it is written somewhere here. If you read me document here, so please do read, and it is available on the Discord channel also. It is put here, so please read here. It is in the README. It is everywhere. So if you have not seen here, so how to see this? Download data set. You have labeling. You have data sets. How to submit, and all the details are here, right? So please read this. You will get some of these answers. The next one is, what do we do when the model we train doesn't detect plastic as we are using YOLO V8? I think Usha, if you remember in the workshop, we had mentioned pre-trained models, though that was only a workshop saying that if nothing, you start from pre-trained models. But now we are getting questions that if we are running pre-trained models and doing this hackathon, is that hackathon at all, right? So Usha, please, yeah.
Yeah, you will be custom training your data set on the pre-trained models. So you will have do a custom data training using the pre-trained model. So you will again be training a model. You will not directly do an inference from the pre-trained models. So you will have to do a custom training. So that is something which requires at least some effort or so. And to know how to do the custom training is also something which beginners might find that it's some good amount of work is what I feel. It's not that straightforward. You can't do a straightforward inference because that green color plants and all, it will be classifying it as broccoli. We have tested it. So, if you do a straight inference on that image, it will classify the green as broccoli and it is classifying the plastic as something else. So you can't do that. You'll have to do a custom data training.
You want to add something? Because YOLO V8.
Yeah, actually, if you look at it, whether it can be called as a hackathon or not, if you look at the hackathon, it is not just modeling and inferencing. It is end to end. Unlike other competitions where you have to upload only the final results, this is about how do you do if you take a real world project. This is actual real world project, except that you are not collecting the data. Rest of the things is almost to the near world, right? So if you look at that, there are two problems here. The first problem is labeling. That is nowhere I have seen. That's one of the things which you had to do. The second thing is you have to count the number of plastics that are there in the images. That's very important for us. You can use pre-trained models, and if the pre-trained models are capable of perfectly detecting the plastic on which you are labeled and is generalized, why not? You can go ahead with that. But the thing is, the generalization capability is what we are looking at, the true learning, not memorizing. That's what we are looking at.
So we would expect.
And one more thing is,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Musha.
yeah, see, most of the competitions and hackathons, what people generally do is they come up with their own custom architecture as well. So if you want to be a winner in the top 5 or top 6, most of them end up coming up. They use a portion of the pre-trained architectures and the generalized architectures which are already currently available, and they on top of it they come up with their own customized architecture, which they release it as a paper as well. So this is a great opportunity for you to publish papers as well. And so make the best use of it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Could you clarify what is meant when pre-trained models are allowed? Exactly which data set with when? I think
you have to take a judgmental call. We better should not drive you to use a particular pre-trained model.
I think we had discussed. I know this question has come, so we had also responded this here somewhere that there is. See, your question, which is say pre-trained models. We are not suggesting anything. You may create your own custom trained model as we discussed. Which data set the foundation weights are trained on, right? So I'm assuming that you are running the models on what we want is that your results on predict data set.
Predict data set and unseen data that will be given to you, which is not labeled.
Yes.
Right, labeled, but you may not label it. Right, on that data, can it really work? Because true learning is understanding something which we don't know, but which is similar. It is not taken from a different universe. It is taken from the same universe. Can it detect it better? That generalization is what we are looking at.
The fourth data set is not with you, it is with us, that we will use it internally to run your models. But you have to use predict data set as your validation image from the model results you will get from testing your models, right? So please, I mean, because we are also kind of looking at what kind of answer is that you are expecting. So sometimes there is a delay because we are not sure what is the question at all. Can we use other data sets from other sources? Otherwise, there is no sense in allowing pre-trained. Or can we use image data generator for image augmentation and generate some images? I think yeah. Sure.
See, the data generally in any competitions, even if you take Kaggle competitions, Kaggle, the host of the competition, Kaggle will generate as a platform for hosting. There will be one host which is RSN, Royal Society of North American Radiology and all that. So they will be the host. So they will just give you a medical images, annotations, and all test training data set. They will not give you any, they'll not tell you like whether you should use image augmentation or image, whether it, or, you should use whether to use external data set or not. Sheenu ma'am has already clarified in the last discussion call itself that you're not allowed to use any external data set. You'll have to use the same data set only. But whether to use image augmentation or not is something left to the competitor. You will have to figure it out, whether if you'll have to find out if your data set has got very less images, and if you want to use augmentation techniques to increase the number of images. And all these things are recipes of your code which you're going to submit. These are recipes which you need to figure out. So no host will tell you whether to use data augmentation techniques or you should not use, and all that. That is something for you to figure it out. That's part of your recipe, winning recipes.
I think they want a very definite answer. So we may say, yes, you may use data augmentation, but which, how do you use it? That is up to you. Okay. Debashish, I think you had a different thought on data augmentation.
Data augmentation, I don't think so. It's required at this stage, Dr. Shinu. So, because it will be very heavyweight for the model, whatever model we are going to train, right? So it's better if we don't use the data augmentation part.
Okay, so that is one thought. If you are getting good MAP with your current data set, go ahead. But if you think that I can fine tune the models and all that, and maybe use additional data. I mean, so we are keeping it open, Debashish. I think we are seeing some very,
But just see that at the end of the day, your ONNX model will contain the pipeline. We do not require us to use any kind of external data. We may not be using any external data. We want only our trained model, which will run on the unseen data set.
Yes. But I hope your whatever the models, whether you are working on new data, generated data, all that, your ONNX format must work on new set of data which we have, right? So that is the expectation. Okay, so let us move to the next one. On that tangent, if the pre-trained model included part of the above data set, how does that work? Okay, sometimes I have a problem of understanding. If the pre-trained okay.
No, pre-trained models are generally, trained on benchmark data sets like COCO. And so there are certain benchmark data sets for object detection and image segmentation. So it is generally trained on benchmark data sets only. So it is definitely not trained on this plastic data set. Plastic data set is a custom data set for you to take train on it. So it is, but it will be in the cocoa and all these things will have 1,000 objects or things like that, which will also plastic, green and all, what is it, leaves and all these will be one of the objects, but it's not exactly trained on this particular data set. So, the objects of this data set, like, leaves and all these might be, one of the classes in these benchmark data sets, but yeah.
Yeah, I think this question is getting repeated. So we will say like definitively that the data given to you is taken from the original data set, which is the unmanned vehicle, the drone caught images from Saigon River. What we have given you is these 70, 30, 10 images out of 3,500 plus images. You can go and look at the original images. You can do something, but then when you run, so we have already reduced your effort, right? Because we have taken certain images and given you already on a platter. But if you want to go and do original images and do labeling, I mean, that's a major part of the work, right? And then you want to come and see that whether your new images model works on your predict image, you are getting excellent result. That means it's highly scalable model. You are on top 1%. But for the common person here, we are hoping that you give us a result which can run on your predict image from this, right? Because the fourth validation data set is also taken from the second image, that repository, right? So we are going to take another set of images which you may pick up or something, but we would suggest that to reduce the complexity of your thinking and all that, work on labeling first 70 and then 30 and then 10 and then run the model and see whether it is working and predict, right? That is a simple way of looking at this problem. You can spend time on how to architecture this, how to deploy, how to create end-to-end solution based on this. All that thing will actually give you a lot of marks. But in a plain, what is that we are kind of expecting? That we are expecting that your ONNX model, which we will run on the new data set, must get good model results. The code must be written well. And then we will also look at these parts. So spend time on than labeling 3,000 images, or I don't know what is the plan that all of you have. Instead of that, focus on the 100 images and then the 10 images, and then work on creating a new set of architecture. If you can put the images in a, we are just kind of giving in a UI and then say that I can now detect the plastic, I can understand the geolocation, and I can now take any image and then run this. So that way, if you can generalize and develop a solution, which is actually the phase 2 part of it. Phase 2, there is no new challenge. It's the same challenge, but then you will have to create a working model prototype around it. And this is for the top 50 that we will open up. But for the first phase, there is no such thing. You have to just give us the original, the basic QandA model on the new predict data set. So I hope this is clear. I don't think you should complicate the hackathon too much, right? Where are the labels of train image? I think we
It's
are
a repeated question. Probably you have to read it first, then we can answer that, because you have to do that.
Please read. Our big request is that there are multiple artifacts we have given. Label the images for plastic. That is phase 1. We are not labeling. So labeling is part of, you may annotate, right? And that is same thing is being discussed in this README document. How to label is being discussed. What to label is being discussed. You don't have to label everything else in the image. Only label the plastic. Label the image for plastic. You can avoid weeds, you can avoid any other debris on the image. So please read the instructions and then follow and look at plastic detection as a problem statement, right? So hope that's clear. How to geotag the image? I think these questions I'll only take up because you right click on the image and you will get the properties. You can check the lat and long. You will get that. I think somewhere we have mentioned, but it is too obvious now. We don't want to beat around the bush. It's drone image. Every drone image comes with no, with the
Right long.
spatial temporal, that kind of details. So please read more, right? Once you read more, you will get to see how your tag is done. But you have to programmatically now create a URL link. That is an ask, right? So this I will omit. Are we allowed to supplement? Okay, I think we have done that already, right? Can you elaborate more on the URL part? This we have just mentioned. Do we need to provide the inference script for the evaluation? Inference script on the next model on the hidden. I mean, what we
It's the pipeline we are looking at. The entire pipeline of the ONNX model. I will feed only my image. I will not do any pre-processing because I don't know. 500 teams may do 500 different pre-processing unless your pipeline contains that. I may not be able to use your ONNX model. Just give only the final model will not give us anything. It's the pipeline that we are looking at. Debashish, would like to add something there?
Yeah, I would take up this thing. So
Something
yeah,
like this.
yeah. For evaluation of the ONNX model, we would would welcome if any script comes on that part. And yeah, as Dr. Sima said, we are looking at the pipeline. So converting it into ONX would be is the preferred option.
Okay, some more part is being kind of written here, working model and the folder structure, right? With the .txt format, all these must be clearly mentioned. Otherwise, we will not be able to run. We may find some roadblocks because then either your submission will get disqualified if we find so much of difficulty in running your code. So any information about how to run your ONNX format, what is the environment you have used, what dependencies are there, what folder structure is there. If you can clearly mention, that will help evaluators' life easier. So please be empathetic while you are submitting. Otherwise, we would have to just disqualify you or the submission is not in the right format, right? So this is next question. For deep learning models, MAP is generally associated with IOE. In this case, yeah, I think
it has been discussed in the last time.
Yeah. Okay. Usha, you want to just quickly repeat? We know we have been IOU thresholding because
You are calculating AP over several thresholds. Okay, so that is a range of thresholds. You're doing an AP and you're taking a mean of it. That is MAP. So this is, for this, you don't have to confuse yourself so much. There are so many, sample codes available in Kaggle. I've also shared the sample codes. I think you're not able to understand the pipeline. For that only last discussion session, I shared a sample code. You just have to reuse that sample code. If you use PyTorch, you have sample codes in PyTorch. Also in TensorFlow is your framework, then you have, or if you want to use pure Python implementation, it's also available online. So you just have to plug in that sample code into your pipeline. That's it. You don't have to confuse yourselves and exhaust yourselves so much. I think he's putting the same question over and over again. I even remember the person who's asking the question.
Yes. Yeah, okay. So I hope that is clear. Next one is question about the dataset. The absence of label test and predicted dataset can allow me to improve the model's performance by tweaking the labeling process. We would say that use very plain bounding box labeling process. We don't know what is the meaning of tweaking.
No, you can do actually your last part of your question answers it very well. Model generalization is what we are looking at. If use all the data and make it as train set and predict and predict set, it is working fine and all those things. But if it cannot work well on generalization, it is of no use. Also, we'll be looking at how much good it is on the training data set also, because we are looking at training MAP and the prediction MAP. So we are looking at all the three. It is not just if we can use all the data and build the model and separate the data set and score it. It will be very weird kind of MAP that you will be getting at. Also, the count may go in a wrong way. So be careful about doing all those things. Better if you use the train, test and validation kind of approach only.
Okay, so Next is implementation with PyTorch library accepted.
As long as it can be supporting ONNX, use any library, right? It must work because we may not be using your own library. That's why we are dependent on ONNX.
Usha, I think discussed about both PyTorch and TensorFlow last time. So it is acceptable. There is no. Okay. These are general questions. Will the deadline of the first phase be extended? So the answer is that the deadline is on Sunday night, 12 a.m. 11:59 p.m. we will close. So we have still time, right? So I hope, I think extension is a very, what do you call it? It's a casual mindset. Then we should ideally not get into, if we are a professional, we would suggest that stick to the timeline. Do not even kind of discuss such things. I think that's not a good culture that we want to cultivate. Kindly provide us with detailed information about when and where to submit the PPT prototype. I think there is a video that we recently.
Phase 2.
Yeah, phase 1. Okay.
No, they are asking for phase 2.
Okay, so there is 2 videos that we have put. So please check these 2, how to submit your name and your URL. I think this is also very clearly mentioned that somewhere here that you may create a Google Drive or Dropbox and share the link with this email ID, which we will get, and you have to just give us that URL, right? And we will start extracting your repository content artifacts on Monday. So that means you have still some time, whole Sunday night also, because we will not be immediately taking it up. But the moment we take it up, that is the last, right? So you can still come back and start putting your URL. So you can still go and tweak, but we are hoping that all the submissions would happen on time. Next question is, our final model in ONNX format like .pt to ONNX. Can you provide us with sample model results so that we can get it? The provided .clb only has fields sample submission. Okay, so let's look at this question. Think ONNX format, anything that
what he's asking is CSV file contains only no data has been added. He is looking for some.
Yeah. So if you read this README file, please see this. This is the format. This is CSV. So here, I think I kind of lost it. So, second. Okay, let me go back. So in the README document, we have a sample. We have a sample .csv, right? So first column is image ID, whether you are able to predict or not, yes or no. Actual count, which is the ground truth, and your predicted count, the difference and the percentage of your error, and train MAP, test MAP, which is constant, and the geotag URL. Right? So there is already there. So that is why we would request you to read more. It is all there, right? How to submit if you read there. This CSV is only the CSV template, empty template. Slide deck, there is no sample, you have to create. But for CSV, there is a sample here, which is in the README document. ONNX, somebody, so the question is first start with this. .pt to ONNX. Usha, you want to take this question?
See, whatever format, I think you've saved your model as .pt. So, I mean, even if you've trained it on PyTorch or if you've trained it on TensorFlow, whatever it is, you can save it as .h5 file or .things and then convert it into ONXs. And for this, you don't have to struggle much if you're using familiar frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch. There's already the utility functions which is available online. So based on the framework which you're using, you can just plug in those utility functions and do the conversions. It'll hardly be 6-7 lines of code, the ONX conversion. Most of you will be using PyTorch or TensorFlow, because majority of you are using pre-trained models or doing a custom training on pre-trained models. So you will be using mostly PyTorch, because most, or at least 80 to 90% of the research papers come out in PyTorch. There's only 10% of the papers come in TensorFlow. So there's a higher probability you're going to use PyTorch. So there's a utility script which tells you how to take a PyTorch model, whatever format you can save your model. You can save it as .h5 or .pt or whatever it is. You have to convert it into ONX. For that, utility script is available. You can use that. That's it. It's very simple and very straightforward.
Okay, thanks, Usha. Still working on the model. Can they request the server back when the model is ready? I mean, I'm not sure what is this. What server are we talking? What server you want it back? So, okay, so I think we'll leave that question. We will now.
Telling that GPU request
Okay,
or something.
okay. Internal GPU. That there is a process that Nikesh from our team can put a message there. If somebody wants it, can write a mail, and you will be given certain slots that we will schedule. Right? Okay. So now we'll keep it open for questions, please. If you have a question, please raise and you can speak up. Nikesh will unmute you. Hello. Are there any questions? See.
Ma'am, in chats we have some of the questions.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. I have one query regarding the GPU usage. I have been allotted a GPU, but I am unable to connect to it. Okay. I think Nikesh, please look into this. Please write an email. Okay, this is done. My mic is disabled, video not coming. Few members waiting. Slide deck necessary for phase 1. If not, can we make it in phase 2? Yeah, so that's a good question if you see the results, right? So don't lose the marks. Your code can, whatever best code you will put, the threshold or maximum value you will get is only 70%. If you do not have slide deck, we will not be able to give you that 20% marks, right? So almost 30% you will lose only if you submit. So that will reduce your probability of becoming in top 50. So please put a basic slide deck, because the slide deck template is there. You will have to focus on the architecture, focus on what innovation that you brought in. Some 2-3 slides is where you should focus. The rest of all is standard template, right? So please ask your teammate, one of your teammate who is good in making the presentation, to do that. So
ma'am, we have a Siller. I've unmuted her. He can answer the question.
Okay, anyone can answer. Please find, are we allowed to use many AI tools that are available on cloud providers such as Azure, Watson, Google, or do we have to do all via code? You can use Azure or AWS or any platforms, any pipelines. Anyone would want to say, I mean, Usha or Debashish? Any proprietary platforms like pipelines?
Yeah. Like ma'am said, you can use Azure, AWS, GCP, or even there are third-party vendors also providing you services. There are also, if you take GCP, even if you don't know any, not GCP, Azure, AWS, all these cloud providers who provide ML solutions as well. Even if you don't know how to write even a single line of code, you can still get the job done using their AutoML suite of products, and using they have a lot of pre-trained models available in their custom suite as well. So you can use end-to-end pipeline as well. For example, GCP has got Vertex AI, AWS has got SageMaker. So each and every cloud provider has got the similar product in a different name. So all of this will give you an end-to-end solution as well. Deployment till model monitoring, everything, it comes as a whole suite. But you'll have to spend money. These products are not free. So if you have, if you're part of these communities and if you're getting free cloud credits, then you can put the best use of it. Yeah, you are allowed to do that.
Yeah, especially if you are from an academic institution, we would suggest that use the student credits and all that. You can, from labeling to model deployment, everything you can do in this, but the kind of innovation you have to maybe stand out and present it in a better way. Otherwise, whether this will be acceptable in the hackathon as a winner, we will have to see looking at your model results. But you are free to do any tools, any platforms, any algorithms, you are free to do, right? Do we have to get the count of plastic in each image or total? So on the predict data set, your Excel format or CSV format says each plastic image, 10 images, 10 rows, you must count on each image, the count. So that's clear. It's not average. It is in each image, the plastic must be counted. What should the student is confusing? It's mentioned differently in the landing page. And okay, phase 1. Okay, Nikesh, please check this question. I'm not sure. Where can I access? Yeah, where can I access last session videos? So we have it in the website only. So you must look at this. This is mostly on how to submit. So please do that in our website. It is there. Okay, then where to upload PPT deck. Okay, so this is where you should have to upload. You have to put it in your Google Drive or Dropbox or any of your cloud platform. Give us the link. That link must be accessible to this email ID. You can give us this access and then we will take it off from there. But please ensure that you name the artifacts, folders, etc. Name it properly. Is it a deck or is it code or is it that different things? There are about 5 things that you should submit. So please send for the video, you can make it as an unlisted video, right? Unlisted video in YouTube and share us the link. So don't make it public, make it as unlisted. Okay. Phase 1 begins, phase 1 closes, phase 1 begins. I think if there is a confusion, sorry, this is phase 1 closes on Sunday night. Okay. Some link is here. I don't know what is it. Just check, can mark as plastic or non-plastic. Okay, somebody has given some link to read. So please.
Yes, ma'am, that is in Discord, ma'am.
Okay. So how to mark plastic or non-plastic? There are some resources. When counting the waste in an image, or is there a distinction between plastic waste, say clothes, and other waste? Okay.
It's never a waste problem, it's a plastic problem.
So image is very clear. Most of the images have beads. Beads are that hyacinth plants, that green thing. Then there is also plastic. Then there are some other debris running, floating there. You can avoid all that and just label plastic. Hope that's clear. Okay, we can see some hands up. Please speak up. Schiller, Palli. Okay, Schiller.
Yeah, actually, yes, I got the answer. I was
Okay.
I was the one who asked about that number of plastics in the image or
Okay.
total average image.
Okay, each image, that Excel CSV file, if you see, you will get to see each image ID. You have to count.
Yep, and any suggested method to count, because using TensorFlow and Keras.
So that will be difficult because then we are closing your creativity.
Okay.
Sorry. So I think that sample, if you see, we have not put any numbers, but that sample, if you see, you will get to see what is the number that we are expecting.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Difficult and okay, there is something. 1 second. Sorry. It is little difficult and confusing to identify plastic. What about the smaller size plastic? Yeah, I think that is exactly the challenges, right? So there are some very visible large plastic items. There are very tiny plastic items. We are confused. This is exactly the hackathon challenge. Devashish, you want to answer that question? Should we label even the tiniest plastic which you think is plastic?
Yeah, it depends actually. It's totally your call. If you clearly see it's plastic, then go ahead. While if you zoom in 2x or 3x, also you can see some minute plastic things. So that should be also labeled.
Yes, better your
It's
plastic labeling. Yeah, labeling is accurate labeling will bring you accurate results, better results. So spend time on labeling. If you do good labeling, so I think 40-50% of the time they can spend on labeling and another 30% on modeling and then 20% on making the slide deck, etc. Usha, you want to add anything on labeling?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of tools out there for labeling, and some of them are free tools as well, and some of them are paid. So make use of these open source tools to do the labeling, and it's just a drag and drop. It's very easy interface to play around with. So yeah, that's all from my end.
Okay, there is an image which has plastic boat. Is it plastic boat or is it wooden boat? Shantanu, you want to say answer that question?
It doesn't matter. Use your creativity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Take a call.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's your call, individual call.
Everybody is playing safe here from our end. No direct answer, Sagyaraj. Sorry. You think if it's plastic boat, please mark as plastic. If you think that is a boat, then leave it.
But look at the probability of getting such kind of objects. Before you label anything, try to do some probabilistic analysis.
Anup, please speak up.
Yeah, hi ma'am. I have shared 4 images in Discord channel. There, some of the items look as plastic, but not exactly plastic. Some of the thermocols. So can we mark which is clearly identifying or not? Because some items are look alike two sides.
Okay.
This is white is thermocol, but in the it's circles. They are can be it's maybe plastic or another items. So we need to identify as in plastic or not.
Shantanu, you want to answer this?
Yeah, saying it like plastic objects, which are white in color, they reflect very much, so they should be marked. Also thermocol and all
This is a
things.
thermocol.
Yeah.
White is a
Thermocol as
thermocol.
well. Yeah, it should be also considered as a
Because I
plastic
have
waste.
zoomed the image very
Yeah.
high, and it's thermocol.
This
Yes,
is a clear plastic. This is a clear
Plastic.
plastic. We are not sure about this, right?
This
So
is a
use your
thermocol.
human.
If we zoom image, it's a thermocol, white one, white one.
This one. I'm talking about this one. This is definitely plastic. You can categorize. This one. We are not sure. Shantanu, you want to say something? This one. You can see my screen, right? Can you see my screen, Nikesh?
Yes, ma'am. You can see.
Okay. So this doesn't look. Shantanu, you want to say yes or no to this? Or no? No comments.
Yeah. No comments. No
No
comments.
comments. Yeah.
Everyone is playing safe here. Who asked Anup?
Totally diplomatic answers.
Yes.
That is the competition, no?
Sorry. Okay. What are the other questions? Okay, raw code with MAP, MAR and logs. You mean that Python code? Huh? Python code.
What do we do with that? I don't know. What do we do with raw code for MAP, MAR and loss? Because at the end of the day, we are looking at, based on this, we are getting best model and we'll be using that best model for detecting something in the future as plastic. But if the code is available only for the evaluation metrics, it's of not much use. Yeah, try different things if you are not getting 65%. Very nice question, but I feel it's very naive.
Okay, I think, but we can give some clues. Usha, you have anything to say? One is, I mean, I just want to understand this row code with MAPMR, because we should be able to run your code on a new data set. One, because you can, we have, many submissions. So we would want the model evaluation very smoothly running from our end, right? So Usha, these two questions we want to kind of answer, row code as well as MAP
Yeah.
65%.
So, ma'am, and initially, ma'am and sir were mentioning, like, they want the entire pipeline for testing it on an unseen data. So, you cannot just share some MAP code and things like that. They want your submission to be in a specific format. They want the entire pipeline so that they can evaluate it on. So, you can't submit just the code snippets for MAP, which is the evaluation metric and all these things. And by the way, you're not, most of them are not going to write these evaluation metrics from the scratch. It's already available online. So what is your contribution in that? So you're going to just take it from online and then submit it here, is it? That I don't know. I didn't get your point here. The second thing is, see, to improve your accuracy and to improve your scores for a given evaluation metric, first you'll have to understand your data in images or in video segmentations and these kind of problems. It's not like you have a pre-trained model, you just try to fit it in. First, you have to understand your data set. So every domain has got different characteristics. So for this particular image, there'll be a different set of characteristics and you will have to approach the data in a different problem. So more than the modeling, it's the pre-processing and, augmentations and all these pipeline, the, data pipeline which you set up will play a huge role in what kind of accuracy you're going to get. Sometimes, people reduce the resolution, sometimes increase the resolution. So there's so many pre-processing which you need to do. And finally, there is a post-processing technique also will be there. So you might have to figure out what is the best post-processing technique for your particular use case. And you can also try ensembling of various models. There is no single model solution which actually wins any hackathon. It's like, ensembling of multiple models, which actually wins most of the hackathon. So if you see the architecture solutions of various Kaggle winning solutions, the top 5 is always a huge architecture, combination of multiple architectures. So these are some of the tips which you can fill, but the majority of the boosting you will get in your getting up your data pipeline right. So the pre-processing and all of it is where you get the majority boosting, followed by post-processing and then ensembling. These 3 things I think will help you boost your score.
Yeah, thank you, Usha. I think we will leave it to you for your creativity, your knowledge level, your skills. All that is what we would want to award the winner, right? So please use as many options which are possible. But basic MAP of 6.65 is an expected result. So if you are not getting that MAP, I think you have not done even the basic labeling right or modeling right. So please check. Question on labeling again. Many items in images like shoes, which we marked as plastic because we consider it as waste and should be removed as our aim in cleaning the river. Are we wrong, right? So we'll leave it to you. I think labeling is as we can see, as our human eyes can see. You can zoom in, zoom out the image and check whether it's plastic or look alike. If you think shoes must be removed, definitely it must be removed. It could be considered as plastic, but it's up to you to decide. Yes, we are here because we want to clean our rivers, not to run an AI challenge, but through AI, can we scale the model is the challenge here. Data set is not labeled. If we annotate with .json file and we will convert it into ONX format, does it seem at both the end? Usha, can you help here? If we annotate with the JSON file, okay, you get the annotation in JSON file, and then that JSON file, if you convert into ONX format,
I'm getting the question.
yeah. So your annotation is in JSON format, which is understood. Then you have to use that annotated data while doing the modeling, right? That model results, you have to convert it into ONX. You will, yeah, Usha, if you want, if you can help.
Data set is not labeled if we annotate with the JSON file, and I will convert it to ONX format. Does it the same at both end? I mean, I didn't understand the question. What is the question?
Yeah.
Okay. I am assuming that annotation is in JSON format. And that JSON format you want to convert into ONX format? No.
Actually, ONNX is also a kind of JSON format only.
Yeah.
Right, but it's only the way in which you try to arrange the layers and how it is being done. So actually, we are not getting what the question is. If you can be a little bit rephrase that or paraphrase that and give it in a different way, probably we may understand.
Okay, so we will leave it. So your annotation can be saved in certain format. Your model can be saved in ONNX format. That's all we are looking at. What you do, which format you do, all that is. Or Devashish, if you understood, you can answer this. Shantanu.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that for different algorithms, if they accept JSON file format, they can train on that algorithms and convert the same final model into ONNX format. And
Okay.
it will, yeah, work same at the end. The
Okay.
predictions from the ONX would be same.
Okay. So Sita Ram, I hope you got the answer. Jatin says only plastic river clean possible flower coconut. So not sure about the English that you have used. But let us leave flowers, let us leave coconut. These are all biodegradable. You don't have to worry. That is all it will not pollute the river the way plastic pollutes. So let's only focus on plastic, right? So label the plastic only. And I don't think your images as flower, coconut, etc. Okay. So any other questions? Anything that Nikesh would want to talk about? So please go to the website and add all your repository. So 5 things that you must submit. Again, we are kind of repeating that is here. How to submit? You need to create your Google Drive, Dropbox, or wherever that you want to store your results. Give access to aihackathon.atrace.reva.edu.in. In that file, the first folder is your code repository. In that code repository, we have written that you must have an ONNX format, the folder structure with .txt format and with dependencies, and the CSV. Everything is in the first folder. Second folder must have the slide deck. It could be the same link, but make 2 different folders. In one, you put all the code and the .csv file. Second one, you put the slide deck or the PPTs. Third link is your video, which is hosted in YouTube as an unlisted video, or you can self-record in Loom or Vimeo or any such thing. Send us the link. Ideally, all these things you can use your Google Drive as your storage, right? And you can submit. Okay, so I think people are. Any other questions? I can see one more hands raised.
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. So we are on time. Let me thank again Dr. Sima and
Good luck.
and Usha, Debashish, Shantanu, and everyone else here, whoever have joined. We are hoping for great submissions. We wish you our best. Try. I think it takes about maximum about 6 to 7 hours of skilled work. Of if you have 4 people in your team, you must know how to divide. Some of them can label, some of them can try different modeling techniques, some of them can make the slide deck, some of them can record the video. So do a good teamwork and then submit great solutions. And we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Hope to see you in finals.
Yes.
We want all of you
Yes.
to be in finals.
Top 50. Please be in top 50 and then move to top 10. Usha? I'm not able to hear you. We are not able to hear you, Usha.
Yeah, best wishes everyone. Yeah, best wishes everyone. Do well. Just last day. Are you able to hear me? No.
Now, kind of. There is
Yeah.
some double voice coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually in Coorg, so there's raining heavily here. So yeah, best wishes to everyone. Do well, and last 2 days left, so do well.
Yes, yes. We will, if you know, come in top 10, you will meet a lot of interesting experts here, including Usha, Debashish, Shantanu, Dr. Sima, all of us. We are waiting to see you, right? So please do well. Hope all the questions are answered. Debashish? Shantanu?
Yeah, so participants, we are in the last phase. So your efforts in developing the detection model is highly appreciated. So keep refining your models, and we are expecting your solution would make the job tougher for our judges. Would love to see that. Yeah, all the best.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Keep at it and all the best. Bye bye.